on gossip because it's not really gossiping. I'm never gonna sit here and talk about somebody like individually in a bad way. I am gonna complain about one thing, but other than that, like I'm never gonna share my neighbor's like personal business or, you know, say anything bad about them on the internet. It's just kind of like when you live in an apartment building, there are so many different people and personalities and just little different things that happen, and so it's fun to just talk about. And I know these videos, I used to do these all the time. I started back when I lived in my mom's house. If you're new to my channel, that was years ago, but that's where I first started, and I used to do them so much more often, and people always enjoyed them. So I always forget that this is like a type of video that I can do, that I do live in a relatively calm apartment building. Like there's never any crazy drama, so that's probably why I just don't make them that often. But there are a couple little things that I can talk about the characters that live here. And yeah, I say characters in a good way. I don't think I have any neighbors new neighbors as far as the ones that live like directly next to me. Everybody's pretty much the same, and I think most of them have been here longer than me, so like they've always been my direct neighbors, which is nice. But I am gonna start with one complaint, and it's not about somebody that lives here. So I think I shared with you guys that my shower had a leak a couple weeks ago. So like you take a shower, you turn all the water off, but you turn the knobs off, but the water doesn't stop. That's kind of what happened. So I had water coming out of my like tub. I changed it so it was coming out of the tub and not the shower head, but yeah, I had hot water coming out of the tub for like 3 or 4 days from Sunday to Wednesday morning. And so what happened was my super, who is wonderful, he comes and fixes things for me, and he's lovely. He was away on vacation, so had he been here, he would have been able to fix it and 1, 2, 3 done. He wasn't here, and so he did have like a replacement, but he wasn't all too familiar with like how to turn off the water and how to do, like he just wasn't familiar. And my dad could have fixed it. Even Joel was here trying to fix it, but the water needed to be turned off. Like the water from my line in my building, which is like down in the basement somewhere. Like that's something that somebody who works here would do. You couldn't fix it otherwise. So that was the whole problem. So I had to wait for a plumber, blah, blah, blah. That's not the drama. The drama was when I called the board of my building. So I live in a co-op where we all own our apartments, and there's a board and there's a management office. And so there's a woman who works in the management office who is so incredibly rude, and I don't say that about people like unless it's absolutely true. Like when I got off the phone with her, I was like, my blood was boiling. It was that bad. And so what happened was it started leaking on a Sunday. I was at church because I was volunteering. Joel had gone and played softball that morning, came here to shower. He had the spare key. He came back to shower. He was going to meet me at church. So after I was done serving, we were going to sit in the next service together. And so I'm serving. So I didn't answer my phone because my phone was down. I was like face down. I wasn't paying attention to my phone. So I didn't answer. He called me like two or three times. I think he called me twice, and then he texted me. And he was telling me what was happening because I didn't know. That morning the shower was fine. After he got out of the shower, it wouldn't turn on. So he wanted to help me out and took matters into his own hands and found the number of the board because it's posted in the lobby or whatever. Not the board, the management office. So he went and found the number and called them for me to like see if he could get somebody to come. And like I knew already once he told me, I was like, it's a Sunday, nobody's gonna be in the office, I bet you. So he left a voicemail. He explained, here. He explained the situation, and he was like, she's not here at the moment, so I'm just kind of like trying to help her out. How do you guys handle this? Like, is there somebody that can come help? Because, you know, they're supposed to. The thing with like co-ops is if it's a problem outside of your walls, so like in the walls of the building, it's their responsibility. If it's something outside of the walls, it's my responsibility. So it was unclear at the time whose responsibility it was going to be. That's why you needed a professional to come look at it. So he was trying to help me out, but it was, again, it was a Sunday, there was nobody there, so he left a voicemail. Then he finally gets a hold of me, so then I left church early. I come home, I start calling the management office as well. Again, no answer. Again, it's a Sunday, so I called the emergency hotline for my building. I got somebody to answer, and then the guy who was filling in for my super came over, and whatever. So that was Sunday. Came to the consensus, I need a plumber. The next day, I call the management office again, bright and early. This woman answers. Now, I've spoken to her before. If any of you have been here for a long time, if you remember like me getting my windows replaced like almost 3 years ago at this point, maybe 2 years ago, I was going back and forth with the office because that was their responsibility and I needed the new windows. They were giving me the runaround, and I spoke to this woman, and I remember that she was rude back then too. I didn't remember her until I got on the phone with her again this time around, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember you. So she answers. I tell her who I am, I tell her the problem, and I was like, I'm just trying to do you a favor, because it's I didn't say it like that, but I was like, it's hot water that's leaking, like you guys are losing a lot of hot water, like it's your water, it's your heat. I don't pay for water and heat, so it wasn't coming out of my pocket. I was like, I just want to make sure you guys are aware. We're waiting for the plumber. The building has a plumber that they exclusively work with, so we were waiting for him. He wasn't answering his phone. That was a whole other thing. So I'm explaining it to her, and she's like not really saying anything, and I was like, so what are the next steps? I was like, so what do we do here? This was Monday, and she just like stays silent, and then after a beat she goes, yeah, your boyfriend called over the weekend, like I'm just a little confused. And I said, well, what are we confused about? And I think she was trying to say like basically like, why is he calling? And I was like, first of all, put some respect on it. He said he was my fiance. I didn't say that. That's not that big of a deal, but it was just more like the way she said it. Because obviously, yes, he doesn't live here. Okay, but he was still here, and he explained that he was doing me a solid. Anyway, whatever. So just automatically her tone, I was like, alright. I was being so, you guys know me, I was being so nice. So then she goes, yeah, I mean, I can call the management office. You know, I'm just trying to like see how we can get this resolved. And I was like, yeah, me too. And I guess she was gonna continue speaking when I said that. So she goes, I need to finish, just let me finish. I said, happy Monday to you too. After that, that was how I started my week, that week. Monday morning, bright and early, I was like, okay, I see how this is gonna go. So yeah, so after that, I really stayed silent. After that, at that moment, I was like, you know what, this leak is not costing me anything, so if they're not in a rush to fix it, I'm not in a rush to fix it either. It was a little annoying because I heard water running. It wasn't like a full gush of water, but there was definitely a steady flow. That was the only thing, was that it was annoying, but I could still shower. I still had hot water. So at that point, I was like, you know what? It's on you guys. I said, but I took off that Monday because they told me the plumber was going to come Monday, and then he wasn't available. So I took off for no reason, and I was a little annoyed, so I told them, I was very clear, I said, I will not take another day off work. So we're going to have to find out how this is going to work for everybody's schedule. And so after that, I stayed very quiet, and she ended it. She said, I'm going to call the management office. I said, appreciate it, thank you. That's all I said. Hung up. That was it. Never had to speak to her again. Plumber came 2 days later, $230 later. fixed and done and over with, but that's not cheap, okay? So, yeah, I'm gonna try to absolutely avoid speaking to her for any issues. On my supers here, I call him for everything, and I don't even call him often. Like, there's nothing, I don't have problems, but when I do, like, that's who I call. And I'm gonna keep it that way. So yeah, and I just, like, I tried to be sensitive. I was like praying. I was like, you know what? When people are like that, they're usually unhappy about something that has nothing to do with me. So I just moved on with it, and it's fine. I'm not holding resentment. I'm trying not to hold resentment. So that was that. And that, like, side note, I'm gonna get into other things now, but side note, Joelle and I were really, like, thinking about whether we were gonna, like, rent this place out to somebody and, like, keep it and make that, like, another income, but that's the people that we would be working with. I'd rather sell and just, like, wipe my hands clean and just move on. So, and he agreed, because he also, when he called me, or when I told him, he said he did end up speaking to her, which I don't know when that was. I don't remember. Maybe, I don't know. But he said that she was rude to him too. And he was like, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And, like, my thing too is, like, if you got his voicemail and my voicemail, why did nobody call me? Why did you have to wait for me to call you again? You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. No resentment. The next thing is just a quick thing. So I have two neighbors. They're on my floor. They're not my direct neighbors. They are an older Italian couple. They have to be in their 80s, like mid-80s. They're significantly older. They are so cute. They walk around. Sometimes they hold hands, and sometimes they just, like, walk laps around our building just to get in their steps. And so they go to Italy for, like, half the year. I think they're there for, like, the summer, like spring and summer or something like that, and then they come home, and so they're back home now, and I just love seeing them. They're just so cute, and they're so nice. They wear those, like, the glasses that get automatically tinted in the sun, so they always have their, like, tinted shades on, and they just walk around. I see them in the hallway, because I think they just like to, like, get up and walk and be active, which I love that for them. Little hot girl walk. And yeah, so they're just so sweet. And they always say, hello, how are you? And I think their, like, thick Italian accents just remind me of my nonna, my grandmother. So I don't know, she reminds me of, like, a smaller, skinnier version of my grandma. And I just love them. I really do. I look forward to seeing them all the time. So they're back home now. I have no idea what their names are. I was trying to think of, like, a stereotypical Italian name that I could give them as, like, a nickname, but there are too many to choose from. So my Italian couple, love them so much. Now, in past, little froggies in my throat today, sorry. As for past neighborhood gossip videos that I've done recently in this building, I complained about the fact that you're not supposed to smoke in your apartment. Like, that was a thing. People were complaining. People were like, you could smell, like, cigarettes and weed in the hallway. And it's really weird because I'm one of the youngest people that live here, but I guess that doesn't really mean anything. But, like, I don't know. I feel like it's just, like, common sense. Like, don't smoke in the hallways. Like, I don't know. Or, like, people were smoking in the stairwells, so you wouldn't smell it, and then you'd go in the stairwell and it was like a hot box. So annoying. That was a while ago. So I guess enough people had complained, and they brought the question to the board, and I don't remember what the specifics were, but it was like trying to pass a bill, or, like, not a bill, a rule, I guess, that you have to adhere to if you want to live here, that you could not smoke. You can't even smoke in your own apartment now, which I know for some people, that's a big thing. Like, and I get it. They're like, I bought my apartment with my own money. Like, I pay the mortgage. If this was a house, I could smoke however much I wanted, you know? So, like, I get it. I do. It's their space. They want to feel like they can do whatever they want. But when it affects the people around you, and my thing thing, that's just the way I think, is like, if I go to sell this apartment one day, or when I'd go to sell this apartment one day, and they're coming to show the apartment to people, and they come in the hallway and it smells like cigarettes, me personally, as a non-smoker, I went to see buildings that smelled like cigarettes before I moved in here, and I was an instant no because of the smell. So I was like, if that's gonna make it harder for me to sell this place one day, like, I don't want people smoking here, sorry. That was my thought process, but like, I do see both sides. So anyway, there was a vote that went out. I didn't vote, I don't know how people voted. I don't know if I missed an email or if, I don't know, but anyway, they posted like that the results were like 75% of the people that voted for no smoking at all. So that's a lot of people. 75% voted in favor of that. So now you cannot smoke anywhere in this building, in your own apartment, in the hallways, in the stairwells. You can smoke outside, but there's like, now it's like you have to be X amount of feet back. I don't remember, but you have to be like a certain amount of feet away from the building in order to smoke. So I have one of my neighbors across the hall, the one, like, I see him sometimes when I come home, and he's always like, how's the cat? Because they can see her on the window, so he goes and smokes outside, and you can see her like in my window sometimes when she's hanging out on the windowsill, and everybody is always telling me like, she's so beautiful. Like, I know she is. So I'll be like, how's the cat? As I'm opening my door, and then Luna, of course, is right by the door, ready to greet me. So I always say the same thing. I'm like, I'm sure she's right here, and I open the door, and then he gets to like say hi to her. It's very cute. So like, he goes and smokes outside, and then there are two of my smoker friends. No, I came out wrong. I don't smoke, but you know what I mean. They go outside and they smoke on the side that I park on. And so when I come home, I see them, and like, I kind of like know their routines now. So there's one who smokes cigarettes. She's an older woman, I would say 50s maybe. And so she goes in the mornings, and then I see her in the evening sometimes, not like late, like 5, 6, 7 o'clock, around there. And she always sits in the same space, and sometimes like it's behind a spot that I want to park in. So like, I always like wave at her because I don't want her to just like, I don't want to come at her with my car. But we've never had like a full conversation, but like, we're like friends at this point, you know? We're like, she knows me, I know her. She kind of knows Joelle at this point too. And I always tell her, like, sometimes I pick a different parking spot because I don't want to like just park like basically on top of her. And she's always like, you gotta park here. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So we have like an unspoken friendship. And then there's another guy who, oh, the UPS truck just got here. That's fun. You better not make any noise. There's another guy. He's a younger guy. I would say like early 30s. He can't be that much older than me. He is a weed smoker. And like, it's legal, so do you. He is a weed smoker, and he smokes like late at night. So like, when I work late and I come home late, he's like in the parking lot. And at first I used to be like, ooh, I don't love that, like coming home with somebody like smoking out there. But now I actually kind of like it, because there's another like person out and about, and like, I know him, I know he lives here, and he don't care. He just minds his business in the corner. He's far enough away where like, you know, it couldn't get into somebody's window or whatever. And I think he comes out in comfy clothes, like basketball shorts and stuff, and he has his phone and he watches, I don't know if he watches TV or like sports or something. But that's his nightly routine, and he just chills out there for a little bit. We've never spoken. I think I maybe like smiled at him once, but he really like keeps to himself, like head down, minds his business, and I respect that. I do. Maybe I don't know him. I don't know if he like has a wife or children here or whatever, but like, maybe that's his only me time, you know? So he's like, I don't want to be automatic Febreze shooter things in the hallway. So, you know. So yeah. What else can I tell you? That's pretty much it. Like, it's been very calm, very chill here. Which is great. I love it. It's quiet. The hardest part when I'm making videos is like delivery trucks, but like other than that, my neighbor, my good old neighbor right on the other side of this wall, he works Tuesday nights from home remotely, and he's very loud on the phone. That's like my only thing. They also have a baby that like never cries, but when the baby does cry, it's so loud that it wakes me up in the middle of the night, but it's very rare. So they must have a really good baby. But when that baby's pissed, that baby's pissed.